All right, thank you very much for joining here today, Momo,
No
for an
problem.
interview. And today we have a special guest to talk about the music. Without further ado, let's begin. Could you briefly introduce yourself to the audience,
Yeah.
Momo?
So my name is Momoko Uchida. I go to Manness School of Music, which is in New York City. I'm a violin performance major, and I'm a senior year there, 21 years old.
Okay. Violin performance major?
Yes.
So major, right, in terms of being in music school, I guess it's very specific, depends on your instrument?
Yeah, I mean, the process of getting into music conservatory
Mhm.
is, since music conservatory is just all music based,
Mhm.
you have to like audition with your specific like instrument.
Oh.
And for my case, it was just violin.
Oh.
So I get major lessons, and then everything else is just like music history, music theory, just like aside from violin.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I guess to get into that music school, right, you have to do an audition.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like, first you have to record,
Ooh.
preferably at a recording studio,
Mhm.
and then send that for a pre-screening audition. And once you pass that, you get called to a live audition. And once you pass that afterwards, then you get in.
Wow, so it's like it's not just like one audition. Like you
Yeah.
do pre-screening 1st. You
Mhm.
send your play, and then you actually once you pass that stage, you have to actually go there
Yeah.
and perform.
Mhm.
I guess it's more nervous for you to actually perform in front of people than recording, right?
I think for normally, yes,
Mhm.
but for my case, I actually enjoy playing in front of people a
Ooh.
lot more than recording. I do so much better in live.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes people can get nervous, right? People,
Yeah.
especially like when they have to play in front of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very nice to hear that you feel more confident and that you play better in front of people. It's a very great skill to have as a performer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Like, what were your school experience as a musician?
Well, unfortunately, I did have COVID, It just,
Oh.
I don't know, taking out like 2 years of my
Okay.
college experience
Right.
because it just wasn't great because, online music classes, like,
Mm.
we tried playing,
Mhm.
music online all at once, but just, yeah, doesn't work. So that was sad. But as for in person, it's quite nice because, you get to have that experience with like other musicians because it's mandatory to be like in orchestra, like small ensemble classes, and then also taking, those writing courses, music writing, music history. So it's a very nice environment to just be surrounded by musicians and just everything about music. So that
Yeah.
was great for me.
What are like the daily routine as a musician?
A daily routine
Uh-huh.
it's like instead of the eat, sleep, study, it's like eat, sleep, practice. So it was just practice, like during the day. Like nothing else is a daily routine for musicians, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess practice is one of the most hours that you guys would spend, right, during the day. I'm pretty sure every musician they have different practice hours, right?
Yes.
But if you were to kind of put that in average hours, what do you think is the average hours that musicians practice their instrument?
For high schoolers who were like, into music, it was like 2 to 3 hours, I think, average. For music school students, so as in like college for music, just like 4 to 5 hours, and like when it's break time, 8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10
yes.
hours.
I know a lot of musicians like high up there, they practice like 8 to 10.
Per day.
Yes, and my first violin, professor, when I got into college, was like, you have to practice 8 to 10 hours a day, especially because we're online now and you have time. I'm like,
Wow.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's definitely long hours. It's literally like a full-time work just for you doing the practice. So I thought very impressive for those like musicians to actually practice that many hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you're in the school, right? You're in the music school.
Oh, yes.
And you are playing instrument. That's the main kind of like a major for you, right? What are some of the recommendations that you would give to any students who are thinking about pursuing music in college?
So I would definitely advise them to know if they really like and enjoy music instead of like, oh, I'm good at it, so I'll just go with music. Because I've seen so many people just, you know, break down and just like, it's very hard mentally, and also just like, you know, you sacrifice a lot to practice, and there's just so many struggles for a musician. So unless you truly love music, and so because of that love you can practice a lot, you would just stay in your room for hours and hours, it would be tough. So I truly recommend to actually think about it, and unless you really love it, try to think of something else. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
For my case, it was just like I was only good at music, and also like I truly did love music. And I guess it was also kind of nice that like I had a breather of like I mainly focus on music, violin.
Yeah.
But I used to study piano pretty seriously too, and like do voice. So, you know, occasionally when I'm like sick of violin, I can like, you know, move around to piano, but never get out of, you know, music. So
Right.
it was really nice to just stay within.
Yeah, I think it was very cool how you were also able to play piano. You were also able to sing, right? So when you kind of get a little tired, when you feel like, oh, maybe I need some, you know, breather, or maybe I need to take some break from violin, you can actually go to like playing piano and like sing, right? So I thought that was very nice for you to have those skill set, so that you can find a way to kind of relax. And
Yeah.
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 All right, Momo, it was nice hearing about different story as a musician in Manhattan, and I'm pretty sure it's not easy to practice those 8 and 10 hours per day, every single day, right? And let's just now talk about because you say you're applying to be in grad school.
Yes.
What is one of the reasons why you're thinking about going into grad school?
Well, I think number one reason would be like for education, where it's better if you get that degree in grad school if you want to keep teaching, like either at a school or in, you know, just privately. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, cause yeah.
Yeah, so it's for educating yourself, but also to be eligible to teach in schools.
Oh, and also I guess like for the connection, I would say, because you still like I said earlier, with like the whole COVID taking away my 2 years, I definitely lost the time to like be able to, you know, connect and communicate with like musicians and people who give out, you know, gig offers or like performance opportunities. So grad school will give me the opportunity to keep going with like and make that connection with people. So that's also another reason.
Yeah. Okay. Do a lot of people go to grad school who are musicians?
I would think classical musicians tend to mostly. I'm not sure about the other music like jazz, because I know a lot of jazz musicians just tend to perform, and it's not really about teaching. So yeah, but as for classical, which I study classical violin, so for classical people, they do tend to go.
I see. Wow. When is the time when you feel very rewarding as a musician?
Definitely when I perform for people, because I spend hours and hours of practicing, and if I don't, you know, like we're practicing for people, you know, to enjoy the music that we work on. So I love it when I perform for people in person, or I do social media, so I live stream a lot.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I live stream like what I work on, classical pieces, or sometimes I take song requests, and since I have a perfect pitch, I just, if there's a song I don't know, I listen to it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then I just play it by ear.
Wow.
And I just love the reaction and like the feedback that I get from people who's listening. So yeah, that's definitely rewarding for me.
Wow. I play guitar, and obviously I'm not a magician like Momo, but I wish I was perfect pitch to the point where I just listen to music and just be able to improvise and just play on the spot. I think that's a great gift, and I'm pretty sure not every musician has that, right?
Actually, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I thought it's like a given for musicians, but even in a music school, I'm one of the few who
Wow.
has. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, it's a blessing but a curse at the same time, because I did have some struggles with perfect pitch. Yeah, because I had this thing where when people are talking, I would hear the solfege, like do 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 de 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 or something.
Oh.
So I didn't really, listen and like try to think about what they're trying to say, like what the meaning is behind their words. I was just like, oh, solfege. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
that.
I didn't know that perfect pitch can also be a struggle. That's something new. So I guess those are very good moments where you feel rewarding as a musician. And I'm pretty sure like as you are in a music school and as you go through those 4 years, taking classes, practicing hours and hours, pretty sure you see a pretty difficult part about being a musician as well.
Yes, for sure.
Do you remember any episode or any moment?
More than episodes, it's quite frequent, where, it's hard being a musician, so, there's a lot of people breaking down, or, they would, sometimes be crying in the classrooms because they're overwhelmed with the amount of work they have to do with, like, their specific instrument and, like, the other assignments, like, let's say composing, or it's very typical for during a studio class where everyone performs their instruments, like whatever piece they're working on. If they don't play well, there's a lot of crying in the music world.
Wow, like in classroom, in front of everyone?
Yes. And honestly, other musicians don't really think about that too like we don't judge that because we all do that. So, yeah.
I guess as a musician, there's moments when you feel very frustrated, and that frustration can possibly make you cry, like in the classroom. And I thought it was pretty interesting when you said it's kind of common for everyone, so people don't judge, they kind of understand. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting aspect that happens in music schools.
Yeah, I think it's just because the reason of doing music, it's to express what you feel, like your emotions. So crying from not being able to, express and do what you were, just expecting and imagining to do. Yeah, it's just very normal and common to just express your frustration with tears. So
When you're making a decision to be in music school, right, you have to really love it.
yeah, for sure.
I think that's one of the take on that I took from this interview. The way you just described how the life of a music student, you have to practice 8 to 10 hours per day while juggling, like school classes. I'm pretty sure there's homework too, right? Like assignment.
Yes, so which is why when there's normal school in person, it would be difficult to do 8 to 10 hours practicing. So the time management is definitely the key for musicians. So you can make that 8 to 10 hours of practice okay, I'm gonna focus on this today, so I'm gonna do extreme intense practice for let's say 4 to 5 hours. And then you can manage your other time to, collab with other musicians, practice chamber music with them, or just go out and find performance opportunities. I don't know, it's just...
Yeah, time management skill is also
Yes.
very important in music school as well. Yeah, I think time management is pretty much it's just brought out every single time, whether it's in different industry. I feel like time management skill it's an essential stuff in life.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool to also, from a music student, other students, people in different majors and different schools, everyone kind of focuses on time management skill. And yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that you bring that out. I thought it was pretty good to talk about the life as being a musician, right, in a music school, and some of the cool things that happen as a musician, but also there's some time when you feel very difficult as a musician. So those were very cool to know, cool to learn, right? And I'm very thankful that you share your experience so that people who may be considering about music school, they can see this video and be like, oh, okay, so that's something that I could also find, and that's also something that I could expect when I become a musician. So yeah, thank you very much for joining the interview for today.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, like I said, I hope this information could be beneficial for you guys for preparing musician and just learn about the life of musician. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, thank you very much for joining, and we'll be back.